What's going on, everyone? Today we got a really exciting video. This time we're playing with the old YODA here, but with a really powerful burn combination that really YODA is one of the best situated decks to actually utilize. Before I tell you about what we're doing today with the Force, a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon and a big thank you to all who have been watching the channel. I got a TCG plan link in the description down below, but let's dive right in because I am super excited. I actually got this idea from just kind of playing on Carebest a lot. A lot of people were just kind of running this style of deck. I've modified it a little bit, but one of the very, very key interactions as soon as we started diving into the full set 5 was REY plus YODA. REY, when you draw this card during your action phase, if you control an aggression leader or base, which we do, you may reveal this card from your hand. If you do, deal 2 damage to a unit and 2 damage to a base. So how is this relevant? What are we doing with this? Well, first things first, REY here, we need to draw her during action phase. For other decks, this is actually a little bit trickier, but for YODA, you have 2 strengths. YODA, as long as the unit has left play this phase, you're able to draw a card, which means if you use his action and you just happen upon a REY, you get to get the Ruthless Raider effect, which is incredible. The other thing that YODA offers is that you can put REY back on top of your deck and then play another card that may just draw cards as a passive effect to get the REY trigger also. And remember, there's no limitation to how many times you can do this. So let's say, I don't know, you're sitting with YODA and you put REY on the top of your deck, you draw REY, but then you also can draw another card and you happen to hit REY another time. Well, guess what? You can reveal that one and deal some damage. The key here is that REY is never a dead card in your hand because you put it back on top of your deck with YODA, and it's also something you can just randomly draw as you're going through the game, which is really, really important. So how are we drawing her in the action phase? Well, obviously, YODA's ability is one option. The other option is do or do not. We can use the Force to draw 2 cards, which is really, really awesome. Kiadi Mundi, this card's been pretty impressive. 4 resource, 4/4. You may use the Force when played if you do draw 2 cards. We all also got Red Squadron X-Wing. When played, you may deal 2 damage to the unit if you do draw a card. And even YODA, when this thing dies, you can draw a card. So lots of different options. Really, really solid stuff. Of course, we are running that Common Force base. It's not just for, triggering Kiadi or do not or anything like that. We also have Mace Windu, a really nice payoff. When he's played, you can use the Force to deal 4 damage to something. We've got Sorceress Blast. You can use the Force to deal 3 damage to something. And you'll notice that a lot of our things that are finishing things off or dealing damage are damage based. So Sorceress Blast, Force Throw, Mace Windu, REY, they all kind of add up their damage quite nicely. We do have Shatterpoint, just a straight hard removal alongside Rival's Fall. And then we also have the little bit of a combo element with You're My Only Hope. This card's just excellent in YODA in general because you can kind of guarantee in some sense a really big cost reduction. It's really strong with Luke specifically because it comes down at a nice point in the curve. But overall, that's the list. We're trying to burn things out. We're trying to do some damage. We didn't go all in on the burn strategy because there are even further ways you can push YODA into the burn strategy. But just REY is good enough to hopefully get a lot of value and win some games. Let's dive into it. All right, into our first matchup here. We got ourselves a decent hand. I'm going to resource this Sabine and honestly probably resource the YODA. I do like having the X-Wing, and I do like having the Secretive Sage. Nice Force unit on turn 1 is going to be pretty good. I'm going to reveal a BD1, and we'll see what they decide to do. C-3PO, draw a card. Great, makes total sense here. Do I want to... Yep, BD1. Yep. And resource probably the X-Wing here at this stage. What do I want to do? I think I do want to keep... Well, actually, I think I do want to attack the C-3PO. Just start getting some damage in. If they want to attack here with the C-3PO into my Secretive Sage, that's actually totally fine. But I think they're just going to attack the base. I don't even think they're going to worry about, doing their thing. Sanctioner Shuttle. We're going to draw a card off of our X-Wing. Obviously, if we drew a blind REY there, it would have been, incredible. But no REY, which is fine. We have the Force to draw us a couple cards next turn, which is going to be pretty good. And, they're going to R2-D2 on that Millennium Falcon. You're My Only Hope looks great here, by the way. And I'm going to immediately Shatterpoint the Millennium Falcon. You know, actually, they have R2-D2. Maybe they'll deploy another thing. Oh, they do have Chewbacca here. Yeah, I think this goes really poorly if they have Chewbacca. So we just have to kill off the Millennium Falcon immediately. There isn't really much option that we have. If they have a Chewbacca, the game is like super tough for us. If they don't, then, you know, it's better if we attack with C-3PO. I think we can afford the little bit of damage now for the nice little boost in value a little bit later on. We'll see what they're going to do here. They're going to reveal Nia Nub. Okay. Obviously, if they had played that on their Falcon, I would have been pretty happy. They're going to draw an extra card. We're going to go ahead and knock out that C-3PO. And then, I mean, we're going to see what my opponent decides to do here. We potentially have a Luke Skywalker. Ooh, they're going to blue leader, huh? Oh, really? They're going to... Sure. I'm actually totally okay with that. Let's put Ki-Adi-Mundi on the bottom here. I don't really care for a second one. Oh, great. This is great. I am 100% on board with this, because what's going to happen is we can resource this, probably the Ki-Adi, actually. I'm going to just knock out Nien. It's going to trade here. I can put Luke on top and then play it with You're My Only Hope. So it's going to be really, really strong. Absolutely amazing turn for us. I'm happy that they played the Nien as a unit here. Let's go ahead and draw, put Luke on top, and then just You're My Only Hope. It's going to be great. My opponent could have a lot of different ECL options, but honestly, if you're in Cunning, like Plo Koon and Depa Balaba and those types of cards already have Ambush, so I don't even know if it's like particularly scary. They have a Han. They're not going to ready any resources. We're going to go You're My Only Hope, play Luke, kill off the Sundari Peacekeeper, and that's totally okay with us. And now we can just kind of go to town, ignore my opponent's units here. And, ooh, cheer it. Secretive Sage, Adi Gallia. I think the Secretive Sage is actually the resource here. And for Luke, I'm just going to ignore. I'm just going to ignore the Han and just attack, right? Restore 3 is pretty obnoxious. We have the Mace Windu that can deploy this turn as well. And I'll probably just go ahead and I'm going to use the action. Even though it's not going to do anything here, I just want to stall an action to have my opponent deploy something potentially, and then for us to Shatterpoint it or to Mace Windu it. And yeah, this is fine. I'm just going to Mace Windu here. I know it's only a 1 resource play. I know, but my opponent's clearly playing this like go wide strategy. So I think just playing something for, even if it's minimal value, like the Mace Windu here, I think it's totally fine. Ki-Adi seems reasonable. I'm just going to go ahead and kill off Chewbacca here. This is totally fine. If they want to attack my Mace Windu, they're definitely losing this game. Yep, that's totally fine. I can go ahead and see if I can draw a, what's it called? A REY, but I can't. This is fine. I'll have Sorcerer's Blast. I mean, I could have prepped for the YODA flip, but I don't even think it matters. Like, I think we're super far ahead at this point. Double Sorcerer's Blast means that we can Sorcerer's Blast, attack with Luke, Sorcerer's Blast again, attack with YODA, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and that's an incredible turn. So yeah, we're just going to start knocking off units. Boom, kill off the Sabine's Masterpiece. We'll deploy YODA, trigger, discard the Sabine Wren, take out the Y-Wing, attack into base, forces with us, Sorceress Blast the blue leader. I mean, that wasn't even close, right? That wasn't even close. We would have gotten the Ki-Adi-Mundi down as well after attacking with YODA, and just to see what that looks like. All right, actually, can I actually... Just ignore this. Just ignore this. Oh, wait. Oh, they already took initiative. Hold on. I'm just curious what we're going to see. You're My Only Hope and Crate Dragon. Okay, well, that would have been great, because we would have Crate Dragon after the following turn. Of course, we could deploy Luke this turn. But as I mentioned, as soon as we had that Shatterpoint opportunity, and they had Chewbacca in the deck, if that Shatterpoint wasn't played immediately on the Millennium Falcon, I think we could have easily lost that game. Easily lost that game had they had the Chewbacca. So I think that was a really, really important sequence there. But yeah, just kind of crushed them. We didn't even draw a single REY. And we got through half our deck too. All right, into the next hand. And we get ourselves a pretty good one. Honestly, I do like Shatterpoint quite a bit. But I also like this Red Squadron X-Wing. And I can go Force Throw plus a 2-drop next turn. So I think I'll resource the Red Squadron X-Wing, because I think the Shatterpoint's going to be pretty important here. Let's just go with Secretive Sage on turn 1. And then we'll pass. Got ourselves a YODA. Pretty nice draw, to be honest. We'll see what they decide to do with the shield token here. Yeah, I'll just attack into the Loth Wolf. We'll get the force, which is what I want anyways. And then I can force throw my opponent, or do I just want to go with Adi Gallia? I mean, I can force throw myself, but I think I'd rather have my opponent kind of get rid of some cards. Hopefully they have something that costs more than 2. They have the daughter, which is fine. I'll take out the Loth Wolf. It's a kind of obnoxious Sentinel, and then we'll get to use the action on YODA here, and I will keep Rival's Fall because I do think Rival's Fall is actually pretty good. I'll resource the YODA here. I do want to keep Force Throw around as well, and we'll see what they decide to do here. Yep, that's fine. I will just knock off of, or get Hera off the board. Oh my gosh, guys, I apologize in advance for what I am currently saying. Put a Shatter Point on top. Let's go with Yaddle. Pass. Sabine Wren, going to be the easy resource here. I have Shatter Point plus Force Throw. I definitely like the situation this game is in. I really, really want to be getting into the mid to late game, even though it's double blue Kaden, which can have Doom rather, and all sorts of other things. I do like being in this position. Let's just go ahead and Shatter Point the Kanan so we can generate the Force again. Get the Force. We can use his action. And, ooh, yeah, Mace Windu is great. I keep putting everything on top, but like that's just kind of how this works. Like these cards are good. I want them. So I'm happy with putting them back on top. We haven't had those like big draw effects like Do or Do Not or Kiadi Mundi. And we haven't drawn a Rey yet. Rey is like incredible against Kanan because every single time you're just drawing and knocking those shields off. So really, really awesome there, but we haven't hit it yet. And my opponent really hasn't been able to generate the Force at all. I mean, it's been tough for them. We'll see what they've got. Ezra Bridger comes down. I think here what I will do is just attack into Ezra and see what my opponent decides to do afterwards. Do they use Kanan's action to give a shield token? They will. In that case, I will just use Yoda's actions here just to, again, stall an action. That's all I'm trying to do. They're going to play Kanan. That's fine, actually. Because what I will do is Rival's Fall to Kanan, actually. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it. They're going to claim initiative. We got double Force Throw and Crate Dragon. I think I'm going to resource one of the Force Throws at this point. Crate Dragon's going to be an incredible, incredible card up against my opponent here. And if they attack Yaddle, then that's totally fine. We can use the combination of Force Throw plus Loth Wolf, or Force Throw plus Mace Windu to knock out that Ezra. Or, I mean, I suppose we'll just, we're going to Force Throw initially, just to see what we can hit. Hopefully something that costs 3 or more. I wouldn't expect my opponent to keep something super cheap to try to play around Force Throw at this point. But the triple Force Throw draw is actually pretty stellar. There's a Luke. Ooh, what are they keeping? Shatter Point as what they're keeping? Yeah, I don't know if that was all that fantastic for them. Yeah, we'll play Mace Windu, Trigger. I don't even know if I want to flip Yoda. I know I could have flipped Yoda to kill Ezra, but I think this is actually totally fine. Ooh, you're my only hope. Resource. Well, actually, yeah, I think I want to play the longer game. I do want to play the longer game against my opponent. I don't want to be in this situation where I have no cards in hand. And, ooh, great, we drew the Yoda, or the Rey. That was exactly what I wanted to do. Great. Rey. Perfect. Perilous position comes down. That's fine. We will go Adi Gallia. We will refresh. I guess I should have used this action beforehand, before I actually played Adi Gallia, just in case. All right, we'll drop a Crate Dragon here. Massive, massive unit. I guess we'll take out, or hit their base for 3. Hit their base for 2. Claim initiative. They'll put a shield token. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. The game is over. We got a Crate Dragon attack here next turn. Can resource one of these Shatter Points. We just attack with Crate Dragon, hit in for 10, and they better have something pretty good here. We'll hit their base for 2, and then pretty easy one actually. We just cancel. I can actually deploy Yoda here, but I haven't even bothered. We're gonna end in a stylish way. Okay, we're gonna defeat. I was gonna put Rey on top and then Do or Do Not. I could have deployed Yoda earlier and won the game. Honestly, I was just having too much fun playing the game. But yeah, this wasn't even close. Like it wasn't even close to being close. And we didn't even draw Rey until later on in the game, but the Rivals Fall and Kanan just kind of stopped all steam. Crate Dragon coming down obviously is just the finisher. But even before that, I mean, it just felt like we were doing so many things and my opponent just couldn't do anything to recover. Obviously, shield tokens really are poor up against removal. Hard removal, not damage-based removal, but hard removal. And that's what we have in Shatterpoint and Rivals Fall. Now, if we had Yoda, the shield token's also pretty bad up against Rey if we're constantly drawing her. So pretty good stuff. Into the next matchup, and well, it's going to be a tough one. It is going to be a tough one. Obviously, Obi-Wan, one of the better decks in the format, or one of the better leaders from the new format, and they're going to get the Force on turn 1 with no matter what they play, really. Yaddle, Gunji, whatever it is. We're going to pass Resource of Chirrut. Hopefully, we're going to be able to draw a Rey here. Rey would be awesome. I really want to start generating that value, but I'm already feeling like we're kind of losing the game just at the start of this, just how disgustingly powerful the experience tokens are. We're really on the back foot the entire game until we're able to deploy Yoda and hopefully get some value there. In this spot, I am just going to actually attack into Yaddle just to generate the Force and get some damage down on Yaddle. The reason I'm doing this is it's going to reduce the toughness past 4 or below 4, just in case they get their Concord Dawn interceptors removed here. We're going to go and draw a card with the X-Wing. We'll see if they decide to put an experience token on the interceptors. I think they will, but that's okay with me, honestly. No, they're not going to. Okay, that's actually totally fine with me as well. Let's go with Yoda as the resource, and we're just going to drop a Chirrut. Chirrut, not as impressive as my opponent, or if my opponent rather would play it, but still going to provide a nice little sentinel body for us temporarily. Missing out on some powerful events here, or plays really, in this stage of the game. Ooh, wow, that is a big ol' Yaddle. Obviously very bad for us. But nonetheless, we will be able to absorb one of those hits with Chirrut, which is really nice. So, gonna absorb a hit here, and we will be able to claim initiative so that Chirrut's gonna be able to knock out Yaddle, so that they can only play a 3-drop this turn, which is not that bad for us. Of course, if they don't play anything this turn, it's actually really good for us, and I would much prefer as to how this game gone. I mean, if they ambush here with Blue Leader, I'm even happier. I don't think they should. I think they should just sit behind their Sentinel. But yeah, this is actually going not as poorly as I would have expected. Yeah, they're not going to ambush. That makes total sense to me. They're going to, missequenced a little bit, but that's totally fine. Bunch of expensive cards. I'm going to get rid of one of these rival falls. And here, even though I'd love to keep this Chirrut alive, we have to attack the Yaddle. There's not really much choice that we have in the matter. I'd really like to draw something that's actually going to allow us to win the game. The biggest card that I'd be looking forward to seeing is You're My Only Hope, because I could draw with Yoda, put Luke back on top, and then actually just kill something like Obi-Wan when he comes down, which would be amazing. But a lot of cards would be pretty good here. Shatterpoint, that's one of them. That's pretty good, honestly. Shatterpoint is a pretty good card to pick up here. I can use it on Chirrut, or I could use it on the Concord Dawn Interceptors. I think what I want to do here is use the Force to kill off Chirrut, so that I can start getting another attack in with Yaddle and just keep on going, right? Just keep on going. In fact, I'm actually going to attack the the Obi-Wan, because I can play Mace Windu here and defeat the Obi-Wan, which is going to be pretty nice. And then follow that up with Luke, and then potentially Yoda flip to actually get us the win here. Rey is actually really good. Rey is actually really good for potentially later. Not quite right now, but potentially later. Let's go Mace Windu, trigger, defeat Obi-Wan. Easy selection for us. And we'll see what my opponent's going to do afterwards. Still not in a great position, by the way. Like, we still have to kind of fight back in this game. Ki-Adi-Mundi is a pretty good draw, though. I think Rivals Fall is just going to be too expensive at this stage of the game. I think Luke's are really going to deal with what we need to deal with. And right now, I mean, we really just need to hopefully not die. That's really what we're hoping for, but there's no guarantee. 6 resources. Hopefully it's not a space unit. Really, that's our big hole in our defenses right now. We don't really have... I mean, we do have quite a few cheaper plays here, which is a little bit scary. Do or do not. Sorceress Blast. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit risky here. But we do have to just attack the Obi-Wan, unfortunately for us. Oh, they're going to put experience over there. I'm actually totally okay with that. Huh. Interesting. You're all clear, kid, huh? That's even better. Because now they're not going to get an attack in with their more experienced up units. And then we can, you know, draw a card. Put Luke on top? Is that what we're doing? I think it is Luke on top, so that we can flip over anything and kill it. Shatterpoint the Luke. Doesn't matter. We're going to deploy, trigger, kill the Concord Dawn. And now we're in a really good spot, actually. Because now we're going to start restoring 2. Now Rey's become less valuable because we already have YODA down. And we have a pretty good situation here for us. Yep. Chewbacca going to defeat something, but that's actually totally okay. We will do or do not draw 2 cards. There's a Force Throw. Force Throw plus Crate Dragon actually doesn't kill that, which is hilarious. I can Force Throw my opponent's units. And if I hit something that costs very, very expensive, I can kill off Chewbacca. I wonder if Rey being or YODA being in our leader slot is actually better. Let's do that. I will make my opponent discard here. It's a Caloran Beck. That's actually the perfect card to see, because we're gonna be able to Sorceress Blast away the Chewbacca. Wow, that was fantastic. I was thinking that we could trade Force Throw, Sorceress Blast plus YODA for Chewbacca, because then we get him back in our leader pile, and that's actually totally fine. But now, I mean, we drop a Crate Dragon, and my opponent's really in trouble, because everything that they play now is just going to get blasted. And yeah, we will just attack here. Force is with us. Draw a card. It's a Sabine. That's fine. We will attack Obi-Wan again. Draw a card. Pass. Doesn't really matter what happens now. The game is in our possession. We have the Crate Dragon. We have the YODA restoring 2 every single turn. If they have a Shatter Point, it'd be pretty good. But then we just refill with a bunch of cards, right? Like here, great. We will just hit their base for 1 million. Like, just hit their base for 5 and then attack for 10. And now my opponent literally cannot play anything, otherwise they lose. So now what we can do is hopefully pick up a Rey. Oh, darn. Hopefully pick up a Rey. Oh, darn. Pick up a Rey. Oh, darn. I was hoping we could draw another Rey here. It would be the 3rd one in our deck. But yeah, GG. So, as I said, early game, really scary. Definitely could go many, many different ways. Don't like that situation at all in the beginning of the game. But once we get into the mid game, absolutely can recover with a YODA flip and just dealing damage. Of course, if we had an ability to put Rey on top and then draw it with some other cards, it would have been much better. But anyways, not too bad. Alrighty, into the next hand, and I really do like this hand. Sabine and the other card going to be in the resource pile. I'm just going to pass here. I don't really care if my opponent does nothing on this turn. I will go on and just play out the Adi Gallia here. And then if my opponent does something else here on turn 2, that's actually totally fine as well. I'm really just hoping to not lose my unit on turn 1, because I really wanted to keep it around. We're going to waylay, huh? That's surprising, because now I just get to replay my stuff. And that's actually totally fine with me as well. I will just Force Throw my opponent. And then if they hit anything, really, as long as it's 2 or more, I'm actually reasonably happy, because this can just trade off. And they're conceding. Okay, well, you know what? Sometimes you just lose to the YODA. It's just how it is. But you know what? We're gonna stay in. We're gonna stay in and just pop back on over to the queue and hopefully find ourselves a new match, because that was not really a match. Well then, all right, let's jump into it. We're up against Holdo. Never thought I'd say those words, but yeah, let's keep this hand. I actually really like this hand as well. I think the YODA and the Mace Windu are going to be the resources here. Really nice setup here. If Adi Gallia dies, I can put Rey on top. And, well, Never mind. They're probably just going to be playing a bunch of pilots, huh? That's less fun. Chewbacca here would be kind of obnoxious. We can deal with it with the Red Squadron X-Wing plus the Sorceress Blast. Not that that's an exciting play, but we can do it. Snap Wexley, huh? That is funny. That is funny. They're going to grab a Poe Dameron, huh? All right, so we're just going to attack to generate the force, and then I will just play out the Red Squadron X-Wing. They can go ahead and give a resistance unit +1 or +2/+2 with 1 resource, which is a lot of power, right? That's like a lot of damage, but it's totally fine. We are just going to kind of do our thing here, claim initiative, and then we can use Shatterpoint to knock out that unit. Okay, Sorceress Blast is actually probably the resource here. Let's just Shatterpoint. Shatterpoint that unit away. I was trying to think of some complicated thing that we could do, but I think this is just... we could attack with X-Wing, try to put Mace Windu on top, then You're My Only Hope for some value, which doesn't actually seem that good for us. We're just going to keep trading off units. The ability to really get some value here, yeah, I think I want all these cards, is fine. Like, I don't really care about trying to get in damage. I just need to stall. I just need to stall, because that's how I'm going to really win here. Force throw, obviously, looking pretty good here. I can force throw my opponent. In fact, I will force throw my opponent, because then I can put Rey on top and then draw it with Ki-Adi-Mundi. Wow, they hate that ship, huh? Something I didn't necessarily expect, so good on my opponent, I suppose, because that means that we cannot actually put Rey back on top because things are not going to die. Wow, that's pretty brutal, huh? Okay, we are just going to attack then in for 2. Very, very poor for us. Draw a couple cards, pass. Yeah, that... I thought that it wasn't going to be very possible for my opponent to have a 1-drop here, but I should have just discarded myself. That's what I considered doing, and obviously I made the wrong choice on that specific stage of the game. So, big mistake for me. Might end up losing the game because of it, but we'll see. We will see. Haven't been able to get value out of Rey because my opponent looks like they're like a full space deck. Resistance X-Wing with pilots, X-Wing or Poe Damerons, Resistance Blue Squadron, like all these really scream, you know, hey, I am playing a force deck, which is totally fine. Yerrick Jaeger, huh? Okay. I think here we will just Rivals Fall the Resistance Blue Squadron. Not an exciting play. Again, would much prefer something else. Let's open fire. We will put, I guess, Rey on top. It doesn't really matter. Next turn, they're going to take initiative, huh? Okay, there is 7 resources for us, so we can deploy YODA here to knock out X-Wing, no matter what we hit on top. We can just blind flip YODA. So, I'm feeling a little bit better about the game, but there's obviously no guarantee that we will be able to get there here. Poe Dameron, huh? Let's go Mace Windu, because I can put Rey on top to defeat the Poe Dameron. So Mace Windu, deal 4 damage to X-Wing. Put a card on top. We will put Rey on top. And they can attack base. Trigger, defeat Poe Dameron. Because remember, this just does same or less than the discarded cards. And then we'll attack Holdo to restore 2, get some restoring going. And they're going to concede. Wow. So I thought that game was going to be a little bit more interesting. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect they hate that ship. My opponent was playing, you know, Resistance Blue Squadron, which is another one I wasn't necessarily expecting. They were trying to go with a pilot strategy. But then they had Poe Dameron and open fire, and we didn't even get the Rey off because no one killed our units. I should have forced through myself. I just didn't expect to have a 1-drop. I thought it was unlikely for my opponent to have a 1-drop here based on what their deck they were playing. Like, I didn't think they had force throw because they were playing a bunch of vehicles and pilots. So, but yeah, I honestly didn't know what was going on, but we ended up getting there. Slowly but surely. All right, everyone, into the next one, and we got ourselves a pretty interesting one here. I'm gonna resource the Shatter Point and the Do or Do Not. We've got Thrawn. This is the new Thrawn yellow. As soon as I see Thrawn, I'm like, oh my, they're gonna try to Galactic Ambition us, which is so funny, to be honest. But this deck's probably not Galactic Ambitioning anyone, which is totally fine. Let's go resource this Sabine. Attack in for 2, just generate the force here real quick, and we'll see what my opponent's got as a follow-up here. All right, they're gonna just attack, so we're just gonna deploy the Yoda and see where we go. Just building out our board, totally fine with us. We have the You're My Only Hope, which I really do like in this matchup. So they got Krennic. Are they going to get a resource cost reduction? They are not. Mace Windu looks actually pretty good here. I'm actually pretty excited about that one because we can actually put, assuming one of our units dies, we can actually put Mace Windu on top and then just play it with You're My Only Hope, which is really, really good. And then we could follow up with Force Through and Sorceress Blast potentially on next turn. That's going to give us a lot of stalling power. Huh. When defeated, deal 2 damage to each ground unit. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we will just attack Krennic still. And then let's draw. Ooh. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm aping out. Let's deal to the HK Assassin droid here. That was actually pretty good. Force throw, opponent discards. Oh, I should have put Rey back on top. That was such a big troll. We're going to sneak attack here. Because then I could draw it again and then finish this off without any usage whatsoever. Wow, they shouldn't have used the Thrawn action, huh? They would have been able to heal 4. That's pretty funny. So just clear the board. Pass. Okay. Not a great draw here. I mean, we could just, say, you know what? You're my only hope. Hopefully I hit something. And that's what we're going to do. Huh. Well, we didn't hit anything. I suppose I was hoping a little too hard for something pretty slick there. Yeah. Not a great situation because Mace Windu doesn't even hit anything too crazy. Chimera, huh? Then to draw a card. Draw 2 cards, actually. Yeah, we're just going to play a Mace Windu then. Nothing too crazy going on here. Mace Windu coming down. They're going to be able to create a bunch of TIE Fighter tokens, potentially, which can be a little bit scary. Claim initiative, and we'll see what my opponent wants to do here afterwards. They're going to get in for some damage, obviously. Makes lots of sense. Resource the Yoda. We'll hit the Thrawn. I'm kind of hoping that they'll kill Mace Windu here. Definitely the You're My Only Hope into the blue was ambitious play. Should have definitely kept the Sabine and just played that unit out. But you know what? We were going for a little bit of spice, okay? We were going for a little bit of spice. So I could force throw, make them discard, take out Thrawn. I can also just play Luke, take out Thrawn, and then guarantee me taking out one of these big things, which I think is going to be pretty useful as well. I'm just going to play that. We're going to use Yoda's action here. I do think Crate Dragon is going to be, although good, I think I'd rather have the ability to kill anything that my opponent plays. So we're going to play Yoda. I'm going to trigger, and I think I'm going to knock out the Chimera. Yes, they can get a couple TIE Fighters, but they don't have the Thrawn action, which means they can't get another 2 TIE Fighters, and those all take a lot of actions to utilize, which is pretty rough for them. So I'm not too unhappy with our state. They have 7 resources, though. They can play a lot of different things. I do think us missing on that whole turn, like, that is an important turn to hit stuff. I should have just played out the Rey is really what should have happened. Oh, they're going to no good to me dead. I mean, we don't have any of those other plays to make, so that's fine. And oh, they got vanquished too. Sure. Yeah, totally reasonable. Sorceress Blast, Ki-Adi-Mundi, double Force Throw. I think the Sorceress Blast actually goes into the resource pile here. Let's start with Ki-Adi-Mundi. Maybe I should have started with Luke, actually. The problem is Luke doesn't kill the landing shuttle, and I'm hoping to kill the landing shuttle. The Legacy run, huh? That's fun. That's really fun. Let's go Force Throw, make an opponent discard. Hit the shuttle, we'll kill the landing shuttle. They're going to draw 2. Deal 12 is a lot. Legacy run is a pretty big payoff for being in yellow. Night Sister Warrior. I'll just play YODA here. And if they start attacking with a TIE Fighter, I think I'll just claim initiative here. You're My Only Hope. Sorceress Blast. I mean, I think You're My Only Hope's actually pretty weak here. So let's go to resource that. Kill off the Night Sister Warrior. Just start restoring. I just want to start restoring up. The Luke can knock out the Legacy run. I'm not really sure what late game powerhouses my opponent could have. Chimera, huh? Wow, that's awesome. That is so sick, actually. Chimera, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, they can go ahead and trigger the Legacy run and just do some massive work here. That's awesome. That is truly, truly awesome. So really, really cool stuff there, to be honest. They're going to be able to knock out my Mace Windu and the YODA here, which is pretty cool. And then what we can do is Sorceress Blast Luke and Force Throw. So we'll Sorceress Blast. They'll kill both these. We'll kill off the Legacy run. They can go ahead and finish off my units. That's fine. We will Luke Skywalker kill off the Chimera. And then we will... Wait, did I not draw a Yaddle? Okay. Let's go Luke. Knock out the Chimera. And then I technically could Force Throw, but I think actually I just claim initiative here. My opponent getting a lot of value here. Lots of drawing cards, lots of value, which is really, really sweet. We're going to pass. Don't really need to use anything here. You're My Only Hope could be good. I'm not going to resource anything because they're probably going to knock out Luke. Yep, they knocked out Luke. And yeah, we'll put Mace Windu on top. And then we'll just play Secretive Sage, Yaddle. I mean, they're just going to start attacking in, right? Like, that's just what they're going to do. And then we will go with You're My Only Hope, play for free. And then we'll see if my opponent's got anything else. Because we do have the Force Throw as the last card in our hand. I mean, we don't have anything else. We're just going to claim initiative. I could Force Throw one of the TIE Fighters, but that's not really going to put us in a winning position. So we'll see. Another Legacy run. That's pretty sweet as well. I don't think we can get out of this, guys. I don't think we can get out of this. Definitely missing on that earlier turn. And then the Legacy run coming in. Really, really cool stuff from our opponent, actually. If we drew Rey earlier, it would have been potentially different because we could have knocked out the TIE Fighters as we went along. I could have kept the Crate Dragon as well. Because what did I use the Crate Dragon? I think it was to kill the Chimera earlier on. So I might have been able to use something else. I should have just played Rey, right? I was trying to go for like the cheeky, you know, high value, but that was just too memey for us. But really cool stuff. Legacy run, definitely a big payoff for Thrawn specifically. Outside of that, it's a little bit more tough, but the Chimera does make it really, really interesting because you can utilize it without having it die immediately. And then when it does die, it's even more damage. So really interesting. Into the next matchup. And honestly, this is a little bit of a scary one. Our opponent just kind of dwarfs our initial start just by having the extra 2 power. So like all my Adi Galias and Yaddles and all that type of stuff just gets so much worse. Like so much worse, which is really unfortunate. I'm actually going to resource this Luke and the Ki-Adi. Even though I love Ki-Adi in this matchup, again, this type of situation is just atrocious. Because what we're going to do is we're going to play Yaddle. My opponent's going to obviously use Anakin's action to kill off Yaddle. And then we're going to play Adi Gallia, but none of these things actually trade with my opponent's units, which means that we are not actually able to get any sort of semblance of stability on the board. So really, really just horrible for us. Like, yes, go ahead and kill our Yaddle. It is what it is. We can't do anything about it. If I was my opponent, it was just the immediate option. Yep, great. We know it's coming. Adi Gallia coming down. It's just horrible for us. Secretive Sage is what we really wanted in this matchup, because it's not going to die to the initial action of Anakin, and then we can start generating the force for like things like Ki-Adi-Mundi. And in fact, here, what I'm going to do is just claim. Even though I can force throw, I still think it's better for us to at least get in some damage here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock out the Queel, because again, I just need to remove units off the board. Because what I can do here is, if let's say I attack Yaddle and my opponent just attacked base with both units, for one, they're restoring a bunch because of Yaddle and Queel. Two, they're probably drawing cards. Three, they are also not going to allow us to use Rey. Because right now what I can do is I have the Force, which is really important. And if I had used Force the last turn, they could probably just knock out my Adi Gallia without getting the Force. But now I can put Rey on top and then draw with Ki-Adi. And then now I'm drawing cards and I've dealt 2 damage to Yaddle, which will allow me to trade. So essentially, Anakin's action gave them the value early, and then my action with Rey is going to even out the value, which is really, really important as well. My opponent maybe AFK'd? I don't think so, though. They've got a couple seconds to take an action, so we will see. Maybe my opponent DCs? Oh, they're just lagging. Okay, or something's going on. I have no idea. We're going to use Yoda's action, put Rey on top. I could even play Red Squadron X-Wing and Force Throw on this turn, which might be appealing here. Quinlan Voss. Yeah, that's fine. I think here we're going to go Ki-Adi-Mundi, draw 2 cards, trigger, and then we can go ahead and hit Quinlan for 2, base for 2, and yes, they can go ahead and claim initiative. This is fine. We're going to pass. Got ourselves a Luke and a Yaddle. I actually do like Yaddle here quite a bit, because it allows me to potentially go Yaddle and X-Wing on this turn if I don't want to go X-Wing plus Force Throw, because I am assuming my opponent's just going to use Yaddle to kill off Ki-Adi-Mundi, and then we can Force Throw ourselves or our opponents here to deal with Quinlan. But yeah, I assume my opponent's just going to go Anakin action. Oh, Jedi lightsaber. Well, that definitely changes the math a little bit. I'll knock out Yaddle here immediately. And then they can go ahead and use Quinlan to hit Ki-Adi, I suppose. No, they're just going to hit base. They're going to hit base for 9. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. There's a lot of damage. We're going to put Rey on top. I mean, we're not doing horrible here. It's going to be not too bad for us, because we can Force Throw anything. I mean, that is a lot of damage, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we're just going to Force Throw ourselves. And then Crate Dragon kill Quinlan. Like, that's all we need to do. And then here I'll do the X-Wing, draw. And then I guess I should have done this first because we have to hit a unit. That was a little bit of a sequencing error on my part. But now we have the Mace Windu. I mean, we're definitely in a good spot. My opponent went all in on the Quinlan, and it's definitely not a good thing to be doing up in this matchup with all the burn damage that I have and all the removal and just in vigilance in general. It's going to be tough. Here, what do I want to do? I think here I'm just going to Mace Windu and kill off the Yoda. Keep my units around. Because now with Adi Gallia and Ki-Adi, I would put Anakin in like almost kill range. They're going to pass, huh? We're going to attack for 3. We're going to attack for 2. We're going to use Yoda's action, put Yaddle on bottom. And if they just keep passing, I mean, we're just going to claim initiative, right? I mean, we've just done literally everything the whole turn. Yeah, I mean, we'll kill another Yoda. It's fine. We'll just trade off here. If they want to deploy Anakin, that's fine too. It's just a 5/7. And then we'll just smack it with Mace Windu. So yeah, another Mace Windu, Yoda, Sabine, Yaddle. I mean, we got a lot of options. We're probably just going to deploy Luke this turn. Passes, huh? Okay. Well, we'll attack in for 3. We will play Yoda. They're going to pass. I'm just going to claim initiative. I'm just going to take the minor value while I can get it. Don't really see a reason to do anything else. So now we'll just attack with Yoda and start getting some restoring going. And I mean, if my opponent just keeps passing, I mean, we have the bigger board. My opponent can deploy Anakin, and that's fine. So that what we can do is just attack it with Mace Windu. And then no matter what they do here, we have Luke to kill it off. We have Mace Windu to finish it off. I mean, we have so many different ways. And now we're just going to go Luke, kill off Anakin. Like, this stalling of actions was totally fine for us. Like, it did not matter at all what my opponent really did to follow up. After they made that play with Quinlan, the game feels pretty much unlosable at that point. So they have takedown. They can take down the Adi Gallia, but that just feels pretty bad too. They have Daring Raid. Cool. You're my only hope, huh? That's pretty cool. We're going to put bottom on the Sorceress Blast. I'll pass, I suppose. Because I mean, I could deploy Yoda, but like maybe they have a Crate Dragon. I mean, if they had a Crate Dragon, we could probably just win. So I don't even know what they could have, to be honest. I have no idea what they could have. I mean, they could have a Crate Dragon. Is really what they could have. That would be the scariest card in this position. But this one is not scary at all. We'll just hit Cham here just to draw a card, and be able to put something on top. Because now we can go draw a card. We can put Rey on top, do or do not, and then blind flip a Yoda. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I don't even care about winning at this point. I'm just going to have some fun. Let's do or do not. Use the Force. Use the Force. We have used the Force. Boom. Boom. All right. And then we're going to blind flip a Yoda here. Trigger. It's a rival's fault. Sick. We're just so good at this game. We're going to attack. And then we're going to play... what were we going to hit with You're My Only Hope? Oh, Sorceress Blast. All right, guys, just don't blind flip You're My Only Hope. It's just atrocious. It is what it is. All right, into the next matchup. And we got a, honestly, pretty decent hand here. I think what I'm going to do is pass on turn 1. I would love if my Adi Gallia actually lives. But I don't think it will. We're going to pass. Let's see what my opponent decides to do. I'm hoping they play a space unit. Because if they do, then that means Adi Gallia can't be hit by the Asajj trigger. Scout, Bike, Pursuer. All right, let's use Yoda's action here. And this is interesting because now they can pass back, or they can just claim initiative. Okay, they're going to claim initiative. This actually works well for us because now, because I didn't go ahead and just pass, the turn doesn't end, which means I can still play my Adi Gallia. And if they were to pass back, I can always just claim initiative as a result, which is totally fine. Like, it would have been the same result, or I could just still play Adi Gallia and have them Tarkin Town, hit the Scout Bike Pursuer, and have them have a 2-3, which is totally fine. But now we at least have the option of getting a unit down, like Yoda here. And actually, I'm going to smack the Scout Bike Pursuer, even though they can Tarkin Town away something here. Now I'm just going to play Yoda, and if they want to trade off here, that's actually totally fine with me. Because I'm going to have the Force, so I can Ki-Adi-Mundi the following turn. Now, yeah, we'll put Sabine on bottom. That's totally fine as well. We'll claim initiative. It's an Ogdo Bogdo. Great. That's hilarious. Let's go ahead and force throw ourselves. Ooh, I don't like force throwing ourselves. Let's just kill off the Scout Bike Pursuer here. So they can Ogdo Bogdo obviously kill off the Ki-Adi-Mundi. We're gonna use the Yoda action here, and then we'll use the Yoda action again. We'll put, I suppose, the Secretive Sage to the bottom. They can attack, but I don't think they will attack the Ki-Adi-Mundi. Yeah, that's what I figured. You're My Only Hope looks pretty enticing here. But I'm kind of playing this a little bit awkward because I'm trying to sequence my plays to where, ooh, Crate Dragon's actually really nice here because I can force throw myself to deal with the Ogdo Bogdo. And then I can potentially put Mace Windu on top. You're My Only Hope it out. I will discard the Crate Dragon, knock out the Ogdo Bogdo. We still have to attack in with the Ki-Adi-Mundi for Mace Windu to be excellent. So I'm really looking to try to do that. But I also need to use Force Throw first just to make sure I can actually do this play. And now I will be able to. So we're going to put Mace Windu on top. You're My Only Hope it out. Trigger, kill the Blockade Runner, pass. And now, great, we got a REY here, which could potentially be used in conjunction with a couple of these other cards. So maybe Shatterpoint's the resource here. We have Force Throw plus Sorceress Blast. I think I'm confident that we can use Yoda's action this turn. Yep, that's fine. They can use that action all they want. Let's go and attack in with the Ki-Adi-Mundi to generate the force for us. We can use Yoda next turn to finish off the Ruthless Raider potentially. Okay, they're going to deal a damage. Let's go ahead and... I suppose we will... Oh, what does this give? +3, +4? Let's just start with a Force Throw on the Onyx Watcher. I know I could potentially Force Throw and then use the REY trigger to finish off my opponent's unit. But I think this will be more likely to be good. Yeah, we can just kill Asajj Ventress. This is totally fine. Okay, do I think my opponent will have a 4 or higher drop? Do I want to risk it? Let's see what I draw. So we have REY put on top. Let's go with Force Throw, make my opponent discard. I think I just want to do that. They have an HK. That's fine. We're going to go with this. Trigger. Deal a couple points of damage. And now at least the... Well, that makes things easier as well. We have so many different ways to finish off this Ruthless Raider, which is going to be pretty nice. Planetary Bombardment, huh? 12 indirect damage. I mean, that's pretty good. No doubt in my mind. I mean, that's a lot of damage here coming in. I mean, we're going to Luke. So that is going to help us. And I think I will just deploy Yoda here and then just start attacking, get the restoring in. Because that's really the only thing that's going to prevent us from winning. REY's pretty bad. I'm still going with the blind. You're My Only Hope. Okay, we're going to hit something pretty good. We're going to smack our opponent down. I'm actually going to get rid of the Yoda. I actually don't care about that at all. I'd rather have the Restore 3er. But we're going to blind You're My Only Hope. They got double power on the dark side. Blind My You're My Only Hope. Okay, of course, we get a Secret Sage. It is what it is, guys. You know, sometimes you just hit that. Yeah, they can play all the removal they want. We're going to flood the board here. And we're gonna do it again. We're going to do it again. We're going to You're My Only Hope again. Okay, maybe we won't. Maybe we won't. I'll just hit the base so that I can actually play You're My Only Hope for some value here. Great. That's exactly what I want to see. I know. We could just, kind of win the game. But who wants to actually win the game here? Like, we're not in the business of just winning the game. We're in the business of winning the experience of the game, okay? So that's what we're trying to do. Pass. All right. We're not going to hold our opponent up for too long. We'll let them lose. I'm not going to be too toxic, okay? I'm already pretty... Okay, chill with the Devastator. Chill. GG. Well played to my opponent. That was an interesting game. I think the Ogdo Bogdo was cool. That's one of the other decks that obviously it fits in, the Asajj, because you can deal damage to it immediately. The Planetary Bombardment was a surprise. It's these types of cards where, like, you forget about because people stop playing them. And then when you play, like, set 5 or new meta, people are like, I'm just going to try this again. And then they drop that, and you're like, dang, that was almost really scary. Those are the types of cards that get real scary. But that was sweet. I mean, Yoda doing some work, guys. All right, everyone, what did we learn with Yoda Red? Well, the first things first is you could do a lot of different things with this deck. One of the most common variants that I have seen in Care just because it's like hyper aggressive and potentially a little bit more fun, is the full-on burn version. So instead of playing like the Sorceress Blasts or maybe even the Do or Do Not, you go kind of full heroism and you utilize For a Cause, Daring Raids, those types of cards to just kind of burn your opponent out. And you can absolutely do it with Rey, right? It does a lot of damage. I personally find that this variant is a little bit more nuanced to where you're not just like full in on the burn plan, which can be pretty bad against some decks. Which I find this deck to be pretty strong, honestly. The You're My Only Hope can definitely catch people off guard with the Lukes and Maces. The Kiadi just kind of refilling your hand alongside the Red Squadron X-Wing and the Yodas can definitely give you some mid to late game potential. You have the early game kind of viability with Sorceress Blasts and Force Throws to kind of keep your parity in the early game, alongside the Rey with the X-Wing and Kiadi. So not only are you're not just playing Kiadi, this 4/4 that's getting you value, but you're also potentially hitting something for 2. And then of course you have the Lukes and Crate Dragons plus Yoda flip to win the late game, which is really, really nice. So lots of different dynamics this deck is attacking on. Of course, you got to play the Sabine Wren just for a nice little value 2-cost play, but it's been really fun. I mean, it did really, really well. And this is one of those decks that really utilizes the Force to the potential that it can have, right? Sorceress Blast, Shatterpoint, Mace Windu, Kiadi. These are some of the biggest, most impactful Force-based plays. Chirrut is even another one. If you're able to consistently get the Force, this can be really obnoxious in that mid stage of the game. And really every single card on this list really showed up for us, with the exception of maybe Do or Do Not here. Or if you're playing You're My Only Hope blind, you're going to be sad. Okay, you're going to be omega sad. Just don't do it. Just learn from my mistakes, okay? Or even just learn from my attempts to have fun and just don't play it, okay? Just don't play it blind. Play it when you have the guaranteed Mace Windu or guaranteed Yoda. That's the time to play it. Or even guaranteed Crate Dragon, right? That's a 7-cost Crate Dragon. That's pretty good. But anyways, hopefully you all enjoyed. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.